Caregiving can sometimes feel like an impossible struggle. Caregivers may be torn between taking care of loved ones and trying to maintain balance in life. The good news is that it doesn't have to be that way. The Caring Generation with host Pamela D Wilson is here to focus on the conversation of caring. You're not alone. In fact, you're in exactly the right place to share stories and learn tips and resources to help you and your loved ones. So now, please welcome the host of The Caring Generation, Pamela D Wilson.
This is Pamela D Wilson, caregiving expert, speaker, consultant, and guardian of the Caring Generation. The Caring Generation focuses on the conversation of caring, giving us permission to talk about aging, the challenges of caregiving, and everything in between. It's no surprise that needing care or becoming a caregiver changes everything. The Caring Generation is here to guide you along the journey and let you know that you're not alone. You are in exactly the right place to share stories and learn about caregiving programs and resources to help you and your loved ones plan for what's ahead. Invite your parents, spouses, family, friends, colleagues, and coworkers to listen to the show on podcast apps worldwide. If you have a question or an idea for a future program, share your idea with me by commenting on my social media posts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also complete my caregiver survey or request an individual consultation with me by going to my website, PamelaDWilson.com, clicking on the Contact Me form, and filling out the survey. Welcome to episode 192 of the Caregiving Generation podcast in the Take 15 series. Helpful tips and insights in about 15 minutes. This week, it's caregiving, how to rise above judgmental people in your life, including judgments you place on yourself. Those who have been caregivers for some time know that caregiving can become an isolating and lonely place when everything and everyone seems to be stacked against the caregiver. My goal in this episode is to inspire and help you rise above judgment so that you can see that life can be yours to enjoy. Caregivers who have been in this role for some time, similar to individuals experiencing ongoing health problems. You can feel as if your life is closing in on you. Choices may be limited. You may feel like you have time constraints on your freedom. Opportunities you thought you had may be passing or have passed you by. So I ask you to consider, these thoughts and beliefs may be only that. They're your current form of thinking. Thoughts, beliefs, experiences, and what we think of ourselves can have a ceiling if we allow this to happen. So I encourage you to break through your ceiling and rise up to the next level so that you can rise above judgment. Judgment from others, self-doubt, and self-judgment. You can become a leader in your caregiving relationship by identifying thoughts or gaps that might be holding you back, and instead focus on your strengths. Focus on what you enjoy, what you're good at, what you're interested in. As caregivers, it's easy to become lost in day-to-day challenges and underestimate our abilities. Some caregivers forget who they were before caregiving. They lose self-confidence. They become lost in thoughts of, I'm a failure, or I am a victim of circumstances out of my control. There's nothing I can do to get out of this. Well, no more. It's time to get back to the old you or to create a new you. So I want to talk about how judgment begins, because the more you're able to understand how we learn to judge, the more you're able to suspend judgment when you look at other people or get into situations or see things on the news. When you have a bigger perspective about judgment, it's much easier to just let it go. So I want to look at the idea of ceilings and floors and moving up to the next level of what I call emotional understanding. So you can think of this like an apartment building or a hotel or something has a number of ceilings and floors, right? So you come in on the ground floor and you go up to floor 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the higher you get, the nicer the views are, right? So let's compare this to elementary school, because we've all been there. First graders learn to read simple words, and they learn the meanings of words. They learn to write and spell, learn math basics, how to count, add, subtract. If you compare a first grader to a fifth grader, there's a difference. Fifth grader may have advanced math skills to maybe decimals, algebra equations, geometry. Those were never, ever my favorite subjects. Fifth graders might be reading poetry or history or learning sentence structure. How many of you remember that? They might be involved in social studies, science projects, performing arts, teamwork, sports, making friends, gaining social skills. So when you look at first and fifth graders, there is a difference between abilities, thinking, social skills, maturity level. There's no first graders are bad and fifth graders are good, right? There's just differences in abilities. There are different ceilings of learning and levels or floors of advancement. Every year, assuming they do well, children move up one grade. They move up one floor in the building, right? These elemental differences continue through to middle school, high school, college, the workplace. Depending on where one lives, family life and life experiences form your beliefs, values, characters, thought patterns, actions. All of this is just the natural progression of life until we have the opportunity to rise above judgment. One day we hit a brick in the wall or a bump in the road. We have a disagreement with a friend and we don't know how to work through the problem because we don't have emotional intelligence skills. We don't get an A on a paper in school that we worked really hard at. We don't get promoted. We don't get that raise we were hoping for. We're not chosen to be the team leader at work. And all of a sudden our hopes are dashed. We begin to judge ourselves and others. We might feel like there's something wrong with us or that we're not good enough. The simple explanation is that people are different. And if we're not getting what we want, there's a gap to fill. And whether we fill this gap or hit the ceiling and stay stuck there or rise up to the next floor, it's up to us. But we don't realize this until there is some kind angelic spirit in our life who offers encouragement, practical advice, and helps us rise above judgment or judging others. How many of you were in situations where kids at school made fun of you? Are there situations today where you feel undervalued at work? When you were growing up, did mom or dad not offer as much support as you hoped? All of these experiences form who we are. We begin seeing events in life and people as bad or good, depending on how they affect our emotional state, how much they threaten our sense of security and safety and well-being. We begin judging others and ourselves. Some of us learn to rise above judgment, while others hit the ceiling because of being stuck in past experiences, memories, and emotional triggers. For example, in caregiving situations, we see our siblings as sometimes people who don't care because they lead different lives, have different priorities, and they just won't help us. Now, on the other hand, non-caregivers see caregivers, they see us as whiners, complainers, self-sacrificers, or martyrs who just can't get our lives together. The challenge is that as we go through life, interactions become more complicated. Complicated with different personalities, people from different backgrounds and beliefs, situations that challenge us physically and emotionally. So similar to first and fifth graders, we respond differently based on our life experiences and knowledge that we gain along the way, that we gain as long as we go from first floor to second floor to third floor. We can rise above judgments, or we get stuck, we hit the ceiling. So let me share a personal experience from my early work life that I was an absolute failure at. And I'm sure you can relate this to your work life, maybe your blended family relationships, maybe your parents got divorced and they married other spouses. This is going to relate to a lot of situations. So many years ago, I was a marketing and advertising manager for a consumer products company, and I worked on a very small team. I had a manager, and then my manager had two reports. I was one of those, and the other was a product manager. Everything was going just lovely. Current product manager and I got along, but she had to resign because her husband took a job in another city. Well, I will tell you, her replacement was not at all like her. To me, it was the idea of, gosh, which one of these things is not like the other? Which one does not fit? How many of you have been in this situation? Admittedly, I was young. I lacked maturity. I lacked worldly experience. I had a hard time relating to this new person who to me was very snooty and prissy, and she wore pearl necklaces and definitely was not from Omaha, Nebraska, where I was born. I was the girl who went camping. I swam in lakes. I caught night crawlers to go fishing. But through this experience, and this may have happened to you, and my attitude, which was not good at the time, right? I became the employee, the person who was viewed as being difficult to get along with. Now, my boss, Roger, God bless him, he supported and he coached me through this period of my judging this other person. And I learned. Eventually, I transferred out of that division into another division of the company. And, looking back to this woman who I had nothing in common with, I'm sorry, man. I was down on the 3rd floor while you and other people were on the 4th floor and the 5th floor and the 6th floor. I was just trying to catch up. But fortunately, I learned an important lesson that stays with me today about bumping up against a personal ceiling. Believe it or not everyone is like me, nor will everyone like me. In the workplace, in other areas of life, it's not possible to be liked or to have everyone like you, or to have everyone just get along perfectly, right? You can, though, learn to be curious about other people, listen to their opinions, respect their ideas, even if they are different from you. You can learn amazing things from people not at all like you. Today, I'm fascinated by people with different backgrounds and skills who live in different countries, who do different things, because of the opportunity to learn and grow and move up one more level, one more floor in that building. How many of you have had similar conflicting experiences where you hit a ceiling, you hit a wall, and you can't get past it? How did you or how do you work through this to get to the next floor? I'll share some tips in a couple of minutes. Life is this road of many lessons. Learning and gaining knowledge is something that no one can take away from you, even though they might have different opinions and thoughts about things. For me, closing this gap a long time ago and moving up to the next floor was a lesson in learning to suspend judgment, to rise above judgment, to give people the benefit of the doubt. What is the benefit of the doubt? Well, it's a choice to believe something good about somebody rather than something bad. It's choosing to trust somebody and believe in someone until you learn or verify that they're not trustworthy. If you're a caregiver involved in family situations with healthcare workers, insurance companies, and other people, you know it's easy to judge or be judged. It's like an automatic, it just happens, right? So how can we avoid allowing judgments to harden our hearts and close us off from potentially amazing relationships with other people? Well, here's a few tips. Realize that judgmental thoughts are negative thoughts. If you want to progress in life and move up to the next floor, negative thinking is not going to get you there. You'll hit a ceiling, you'll stay there, while others who manage their emotions are going to go up to the next floor and the next floor. Eventually, they're going to be at the penthouse and you're still going to be in the basement. When your mind goes to a place of judgment, number 2, stop and ask yourself, why am I judging? Is there a prior situation in life that's causing me to feel this way? Figure out the emotion, resolve it so that next time you don't get hooked. You rise above the judgment. Number 3, when you judge, ask, is this a helpful thought? Is it worth my time to think bad things or create stories around this person or event? How can I invest my attention in something more positive? Number 4, is there something in this person that I don't like in myself? Am I projecting my insecurities onto them? On the other hand, if you're the person feeling judged, ask yourself how much truth there is in the judgment. If there's none, let it go. If there is truth, figure out how to resolve your self-doubts, self-thoughts, inaccurate beliefs. By learning to control our thoughts and our reactions, we free ourselves of all these emotional attachments that can prevent us from being better caregivers. We prevent ourselves from becoming the caregiver leaders we can be by setting good examples for others to follow and good examples for people we want to have relationships with. If you want others to help you, give them the benefit of the doubt. Be positive, be kind, seek to understand, be curious, be more accepting of others. You'll be surprised how the reactions of other people will change toward you in a positive manner when you change your beliefs, attitudes, and reactions to be more welcoming and positive. Everyone wants to be accepted and loved. Sometimes it can be difficult to see beyond the judgments of other people to understand the foundations of why they believe what they believe. By becoming curious, we can break the barriers that divide us so that we can create positive caregiving relationships and in all experiences in our life. So this week, think about this. Choose to rise above judgment. Choose to be the leader in your caregiving situation. Choose to be the star in the movie that you call your life. I thank you for being here. This is episode 192 of the Caring Generation podcast. I'm Pamela D Wilson, caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker. Go over to my website, look for the episode information, which is accompanied by a video and other information in the show transcript. Please do share this program with everyone you know so that we can extend the love, help people find information they are seeking about caregiving. Thanks for being here. I look forward to being with you again soon. God bless you all. Sending love to everybody. Sleep well tonight. Have a fabulous day tomorrow and a great week or 2 weeks until we are here together again.
Tune in each week for The Caring Generation with host Pamela D Wilson. Come join the conversation and see how Pamela can provide solutions and peace of mind for everyone. Here on Pamela D Wilson's The Caring Generation.